I love that Nintendo Switch!
What is going on, Switch fam? It is your boy QKG, and please excuse you boys' hiatus. I have a really bad Valorant addiction. Let me just explain that shit to you right now. I have a really bad Valorant addiction. It has been so many nights of coming home off of work and playing Valorant and playing one of my most anticipated games of 2020, which is Trials of Mana. And this is just mostly documenting my experience. This is pretty much a review, if you will. I just want to give a more kind of informal format, if you will. I don't want to have a script. I want to make sure this is free. I don't know if informal was the best word to use in that situation. Either which way it goes, I just want to make sure I give you guys my raw experience with the game, because I have been gravitated to this game ever since the Super Nintendo version. And just in case you guys don't know, the Super Nintendo version was never released in Japan. The only way you were able to get your hands on it was through emulation, or I don't know. Either which way, it was a hard way to get the game. So I somehow managed to stumble across this game as a child. I see someone playing it. I'm like, yo, this game looks freaking cool. I've never seen it before. But I could never pronounce the actual title. But I was like, it's CQ Desu 2-3. I don't know. Either which way, the game had me hooked. And when I saw this game at E3, come to find out it's coming out on PS4 and Switch, I low-key didn't even recognize the game until at the very end when I saw the big ugly spider and 3 different characters, and then I saw all the protagonists. That's when your boy got hype. That's when hype mode activated, and boom. And there you have it. 2020's most anticipated game. So let's actually talk about the actual game itself. So no lie, I actually downloaded the demo prior because as soon as I heard it was a demo, I trust me, your boy couldn't wait. I didn't say anything about the game just because I wanted the full game to be out. I wanted to see if they added anything new to the game, because I will be 100% honest, I did not beat this game. I had to end up learning the story a little bit after through some YouTube videos, just because I just didn't feel like playing it. But the story, I understand, but I wanted to see if they did anything different, and thank God they actually did. So there's actually, in the in-game section, you can actually get to class 4 now. So they actually added an extra class for each character. So depending on whatever route you go, be very careful on what classes you pick, just because at first I was like, oh, I'm gonna go Gladiator just because I did that in the can't say Super Nintendo version, I'll say the old school version because it re-released. Either which way, I would always go Gladiator, thinking I'm just gonna go with the duelist and I'll be strong. And then come to find out, actually look up the abilities of what the actual players get. Come to find out, maybe I should have went in a different route. So don't stress too much about that. If you want, well, excuse me. So I wouldn't stress too much about that if you. So honestly, I wouldn't stress that much if you're somebody that's gonna definitely do multiple different playthroughs. But if you're somebody that wants to get it, you know, right down the middle from the very start, and if you get confused on how to reset your class and all these other things, there's a bunch of different tools, especially on the wiki page that they had that helped me out. So, because there was a lot of things I didn't realize that I had to do to get the class items, and it's just a lot of different things. So don't worry if you don't get it right away. It's in game, they're just gonna throw all the stuff at you. I'll be honest, they'll just throw you the goddess scales, which help you reset your class, and then they'll just throw the item seeds, which are random, until you plant them boys, and boom, you get a class item to help you level up your class. Break time.
Okay, stay back.
Now, the way they have that system set up, I can't lie, I actually really like it, and it still keeps it back to its original format, and that's coming in with those training points. Now, back in the original version, I don't know if I remember skipping whenever you would level up and you would have a training point available. Pretty sure you just had to use that sucker right when they gave it to you. So the training points will have various different skill trees, whether it's going to be if you're going straight damage, if you're going to go spirit, intellect, whatever it may be. You're going to stockpile those actual training points, and then once you, I guess, get to a comfortable spot, if you're somebody that just wants to grind until it gets way too difficult, and that's when you want to start leveling up. But that's the way they have this system. So they kept that to the original, which is pretty cool. So the whole system is easier to understand, even when it comes to just traversing the game. Back then, the game did tell you where to go, but there really weren't icons, pointing you in every single direction where to go to. So it actually makes it to where the playthroughs are going to be a little quicker, and they're going to be a little bit more linear, if that makes sense. So the game itself still offers a little bit of exploration, but it seems very linear, just to be honest with you. Which, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with the game being super linear. That doesn't bother me too much as long as it has an engaging story and the gameplay's fun. But if you're somebody that's looking for a little bit more, open worldness, if you will, trust me, if you go to the towns and you start talking to people, I noticed I would talk to everybody and then nothing really happens. So I didn't really run into too many different side quests. Maybe I need to spend a little bit more time in this post game, see if there's a little bit more there. But the game definitely did feel linear, so if you're someone like me, you'll be alright. But in other words, it's linear. Oh, and let me just take a second and just say, yo, Square, everybody had a name attached to this game. Shout out to y'all for making some really fire combat, because that's what made me like that game so much. There was a time and point where I played a bunch of Super Nintendo games literally in 2004. This is when I had the PS2, but I had access to like a billion different Super Nintendo games. So literally at that point, those games back then, they weren't all that, combat heavy. Some games you got lucky with and some games you didn't. Trials of Man is a game you got lucky with, and then when the game is modernized, I've literally pictured it the way the combat is. I know it's not going to be super Devil May Cry, but I know it's not going to be super slow paced like Crisis Core. I know it's going to have a nice little quick balance, and it's going to be simple, yet it's also going to have its little quirks here and there to where you can pull off some really devastating moves. Like certain moves may have certain effects, like you might want to go into a couple quick hits, knock them down, go Flame Saber, use your class arts to finish them off, whatever it may be. It gives you options if you want to get spicy, if you will, or if you're somebody that wants to keep it simple and you don't want that overcomplicated gameplay. If that's somebody that's that's what you're looking for, this will actually be right up your alley. So the game has a really good combat system that's simple, but it gives you options and it gives you ways to pull some pretty cool shit off. And then another thing about the game, and this is just really me just wrapping up the game, like I literally just finished the game. Thing I must say, man, the voice acting in the game, the characters, I envision them the way, everybody has tried to picture a voice on the character, especially for a game when they're not voiced, but the voices for the game seem great. Great voice actors. I hear a lot of emotion, especially going between different characters, and there's a certain point in the game, I don't even want to spoil it for you, not everybody's played this game, but man, it's a section, especially if you play Duran's portion, just the way the music hits, it hits differently hearing a different voice. So back then, I had to watch the YouTube video of that scene, and just hearing the music sometimes sets the mood really good. For an example, in Final Fantasy IV, where the twins are holding a wall, they literally turn into stone, and everything is dead quiet. Everybody's like, oh my god, we don't know what just happened. So either they're dead, or they just stuck there forever. Whatever it is, it's not a good situation. So scenes like that, when there's no voice acting, that's how you capture that type of, that emotional tug, if you will. And they just did both. So that's why I was just like, ugh, when the scene popped up. So overall, voice acting's been great. Definitely enjoyed the game's story. It's the same story all the way from the last one, but overall, voices for the characters, good choices. Now I have to wrap up this review, and just overall, the game has just been so much fun. So literally, if you're somebody that loves action RPGs, you might love some hack and slashes here and there, because just fighting with these characters, switching seamlessly between the characters, doing their class arts and doing their special abilities and their combos, man, it is just so much fun. And the game was remade in the best way possible. Definitely had a lot of love in there. Heck, man, even when you have cosmetic changes to your equipment now, I'm talking about just the swords and their main weapons, not like armor pieces or helmets or anything like that, but let's say, for an example, if you get a new weapon in the shop Back then, of course, there was no cosmetic change, but your weapons actually look completely different. So you may see the gameplay in the review, Duran's using multiple different weapons. So that was a cool little touch on that. That was a little spice added onto that. But I just feel love in the game. It definitely does not feel like a cash grab. I don't feel like something, they were trying to chuck out there just to, do whatever. But it definitely seems like it was something handled with love and care. And being someone who played the original and even bought the collection of mana on the Switch and experiencing the remake, it's really good, man. It's so good, and it makes me want to play this game so many more times because now the combat is way better, the environments. Oh, and by the way, the one thing I didn't even say, the optimization on this game is beautiful. There are moments this game looks absolutely gorgeous. Now, I have noticed when I've done maybe a class art and I think there's like a ton of things on the screen, yes, frame rate may drop, whatever. It's the Switch, I don't care. But the fact that the visuals do look as good as they do for this console is a plus. So, overall, I definitely have to say this game is absolute fire. It is definitely, if nothing else tops this, it's probably going to be my game of the year for 2020, just because of how good the remake was, and how fresh it felt, and how good it felt, and how good it ran on even the Switch, and having literally zero problems. Seeing it crash on me one time, not once. So, oh man, I don't know, man. I just had a blast playing this game. So I thank you guys for tuning into this really odd review. I'm trying to get a little bit more personal with these reviews because I don't just want to be talking into nothing. I actually want to give a little bit more personality. So hopefully you guys enjoy it more. So definitely leave your comments down below on what you think about the game or any games you guys been playing. Anything like that you want to put me on game on. Anything I may not have been playing because your boy doesn't play Animal Crossing, but everybody does. But besides the point, I would love to thank you guys for tuning in this review. I'm going to definitely hop back on some Valorant and play some more Trials of Mana. So I'll catch you guys later. This is your boy QKG, and peace out.
Pity. But if that is your wish, I cannot let you live. Behold, the Dragon Lord's power of darkness. Without darkness, you cannot hope to become the strongest.
Shut it! I ain't gonna rely on darkness to gain power. I'll stop you with my own strength!